Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Today's wisdom will be coming from out of First Peter chapter number 4, verses 7 through 11. That's First Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11, and it reads, "But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer." Today I want to talk about preparing for the end, preparing for the end. Of course, in Genesis, we are told that God creates the heaven and the earth. God is the creator of the universe. And not only he creates the universe, but he sustains the universe. But God also is the terminator and will be the terminator of the universe. Of course, history is rapidly showing that the end is near. Of course, no one knows that day or hour, not even the angel nor the Son of Man. The only one knows is God. He knows that exact date. But as believers, it is imperative that we live a life of anticipating the coming of Christ at any moment. And as we are anticipating his coming, there are certain things we ought to be doing. Peter shares with us 4 particular areas what we ought to be doing as we're preparing for the end. Verse number 7, he says we ought to think clearly and we ought to pray biblically. Of course, if we can't think clearly, we are not able to pray biblically. Of course, verse number 8, he says we ought to love earnestly. Of course, love will cover a multitude of sin. When we love earnestly, we literally loving and we keep loving irregardless and in spite of. We forgive. We don't hold on to hurt and we don't hold on to grudges. Of course, we love earnestly. And then we ought to, number 2, he says we ought to show hospitality. Of course, hospitality is what we do toward a stranger. It's okay to welcome people we know. It's okay to welcome people that we see in the day. But when we're going up to a stranger and showing that hospitality. And then verse number 10 and 11, he says we ought to make sure that we minister unselfishly. Of course, God has given all of us, we all had received a gift. Of course, and it's a spiritual gift. The Holy Spirit has empowered us to be able to serve, and not only empower us to serve, but it empower us also to speak. And we ought to use it not for our benefit of ourselves, but we ought to use it for the benefit of others. Please join us tonight for our Bible class table talk for this discussion on preparing for the end. We will be on our Zoom network and our Facebook page. As always, of course, today will be better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better than today. Why I will strive to live better, be better, and do better. I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I am holy, preparing for the end.